more people. So how cool is that? Can we give one more round of applause? We're going to hear from a handful of these guys, but how cool is that? Okay, so let me see here. Hold on, I'm getting a text message. You guys speak amongst yourselves really fast. As I check this text, I think it's important. Okay. Okay, we'll work this in. So let's hear from what makes what you do so powerful are the stories. Would you agree with me? Would you agree? Like when I first started hearing the stories, I said, oh my gosh, this thing is way more important than just helping people lose weight. That's what I thought we were here for. And then I start hearing the stories and I said, we don't help people lose weight. We help people change their lives. We give people hope. And so we got some powerful stories tonight. I want to start off with Gilbert Gasca, who I got a chance to meet some months back. This man has made a decision. And I can't wait for you guys to get to meet him and hear a little bit more of his story. Gilbert, you there tonight?
I'm here. I'm excited to do this. I'm nervous, but I'm excited. I've got this tagline I'm using. It's called New Challenges, New Day. New day, new challenges. Every day I post a video, new day, new challenge. Sometimes it's walking up a hill and sometimes it's telling a story. Sometimes this morning, Jamil asked why. Today, that was my challenge. I really thought about my why. And so before I get to my why, I'm going to tell you a little short story. 12 years ago, I thought I was going to die twice in a couple months. I was at work. I was walking, doing my job. I'm taking notes. My back starts hurting. So, I do the typical thing. I start stretching and trying to make it feel better. It feels better a little bit, but, it's not getting any better. It just keeps getting worse and worse and worse. So pretty soon I'm getting on my phone and I'm calling the office and I'm saying, hey, I'm going home sick the rest of the day. Get in my car and the pain is getting unbearable. And I'm closing my eyes and going 70 miles an hour down the highway. So I get off the highway and I pull over. I call my wife and I say, hey, you need to come pick me up. But I'm getting her voicemail. I'm making a phone call and it goes immediately to voicemail. So I'm like, what the heck is going on? I gather myself. I force myself to get back in the car. I will make it to the house. It was only about 2 miles away, but I'm fighting this pain. I get home and I roll out of the car. Don't even bother closing the door. I crawl to my front door on my hands and knees. I get in the house and I flop down on the floor and I passed out. About an hour later, my wife shows up and I'm upset. I'm like really upset. And she's like, what are you doing here? What's wrong with you? I said, bring me to the hospital now. I think I'm dying. Right. I get to the hospital and I explain my symptoms. Doctor says, we're going to rule out cancer. We're going to start with ruling out cancer. They send you into a tube. They take the scan. They come back and they say, hey, we got good news for you. You have a kidney stone. But guess what? It's also bad news. I can't just give you the medicine. Your kidney stone is 1 inch by 3 inches long. It's huge. It's called a staghorn calculi. So I have to go into surgery. They do a procedure called lithotripsy. I have to do this twice. It's 3 months apart. And so I go in, they do, I think it's like 12,000 pulses of sonic waves to break up the stone. And they only get about 3/4 of it. So I got to go back and I do it again. Meanwhile, I'm walking around at work with a bag and, trying to drink extra water to clear this thing out. Well, my wife, thank God, reads the radiologist report. And she notices something that my doctor didn't tell me. There's a spot on my pancreas. Sorry, I'm just emotional. And she calls the doctor and she says, hey, there's a spot on my pancreas. What is this? Doctor says, don't worry about it. It's probably nothing. She says, oh no, BS, right? You guys don't know my wife. She's not the kind of person that ever cusses. She said, send him to a specialist. We want to know what this is. So get another scan, go back to that specialist. And he says, you know who Steve Jobs is? I said, yeah, Steve Jobs just died a couple weeks ago. You have the same cancer he had. So here I am, a mess again, right? I have two small kids, 5 and 4 years old. And I'm thinking, the richest man in the world just died from this. What are my chances? I go to see the doctor, and the doctor says, follow my instructions, you will survive. So I say, okay, let's do it. A month later, I'm in surgery. I'm sitting on the table and I'm looking at the door. I'm just scared out of my wits. And I'm thinking, I can make it. I can get out that door. And I look to my left. There's this really pretty nurse, and her name's Heavenly. Look to my right, and the other nurse, her name is Grace. Sorry, people. God sent me a message that day. Sorry. God sent me a message, told me I was in the right spot. But guess what? 27 days later, I'm coming out of the hospital, and we go home, and I tell my wife, I'm going to get healthier. But guess what? That didn't happen. I gained all my weight back. I left that hospital 30 pounds lighter in 27 days. And that wasn't enough to get me going. So about 6 months back, I started this. That's when I met Jamil. And you can ask Jamil, I hated this program. I called him out on every bad piece of food I put in my mouth. And I hated it. But I was doing it a little bit, kind of like Amanda was saying the other day. I was 5 and 1-ishing. And I went to the doctor, and my A1C was 10.2. And that scared me. And so I came home that day and I told my wife, hey, we're going to do this. We're going to do it as a team. We're going to do this together. So we've done it. I went back to the doctor last week. A1C was 7.2. I was 30 pounds lighter. I'm pulling my belt 2 holes closer. Matter of fact, I have to buy a new belt this week. My CPAP machine was dropped 2 pounds of pressure. And I'm out for a walk 5-6 days out of every 7. Optavia is our why right now. Right now, Optavia is the why. Jamil asked why. Because we can do this together as a team. We can grab new people. We can inspire them. And we can make people get better. That's my why.
Mic drop, baby. That's